It wasn't your average day in court. What transpired was an implosion years in the making, one that broke the veneer illusion reality TV had painstakingly created. And when it finally burst wide open, the world got to see a side of Cody and Robyn Brown that no episode of TLC had ever had the courage to reveal. So welcome back to Core Wealth. If you believed that Sister Wives melodrama stopped with subdued breakups and enigmatic Instagram updates, think twice. In the courthouse, pandemonium was certain. Journalists grouped beyond barricades, cameras focused on the courthouse entrance, all waiting for the Browns to materialize. Inside, the air was strained. The marble corridors resonated with hushed tones, and each pew was packed with attorneys, reporters, and inquisitive spectators. The gossip wasn't gossip anymore, it was soon to be validated. Because this wasn't a divorce court hearing, it wasn't reality TV show contracts or custody agreements. This was about infidelity, cash, lies, and potential fraud. And the whole country watched. A moment before 9 a.m., a black SUV pulled up. Cody emerged first, not wearing his cowboy boots, but a crumpled grey suit. His jaw was clenched, his face stern. Robyn trailed behind, wearing navy, her face impassive. No grins, no waves, no indication of the soulmate connection fans had thought existed. As they approached the courthouse, journalists hurled questions like bullets. Did you stash money from the other wives? Robyn, will you be charged? Will your kids testify? The pair remained silent. But their silence screamed. So what ultimately fueled this legal firestorm? The truth began quietly. Whispery social media comments, acerbic comments by Christine, Janelle, even Meri. Each subtle drop was a breadcrumb leading toward betrayal. The hardest words to hear were those of Christine. Sometimes the truth hurts more when it comes from the ones you trusted most. Offstage, rumours intensified. Longtime family sources alleged Cody and Robyn had secretly diverted considerable sums of money. What they referred to as family budgeting and emergency funds were actually private accounts over which they alone had control. The most incriminating piece of information: these transactions allegedly surged soon after Christine departed, raising speculation that the pair had been grooming subsequent wives to leave as well. Lawyers representing Christine and Janelle requested a forensic audit, maintaining there was decades, if not centuries, of financial manipulation. After the state received a whiff of ownership of possible civil fraud, the case picked up speed with lightning intensity. In order to truly get the scandal, you have to go back. In the early years of Sister Wives, the Browns drew from one pooled family account. Every TLC check, every book advance, every side hustle, ploughed into one pot to pay for groceries, school expenses, vacations, everything. But things changed in 2014, when Robyn became Cody's sole legal wife. That made her sole authority over certain assets, life insurance, medical decisions, and most significantly, financial documents. Court papers now accuse Cody and Robyn of secretly sending up to $2 million into private trusts, LLCs, and personal bank accounts from 2016 to 2022. Funds intended for the entire family were spent on luxury goods, private school fees, and real estate, primarily for Robyn's children. Much of it was gone by the time Christine and Janelle sounded the alarm. In the courtroom, the air was charged. The media occupied an entire row. Cody and Robyn sat next to their attorneys, pale and impassive. Their attorney maintained the charges were simply a jealous smear campaign by disgruntled ex-wives. But that explanation fell apart when the prosecution dropped its first bombshell: a $200,000 wire transfer out of the Brown family account into one named Robyn Home Purchase. Gasps echoed in the courtroom, and that was only the start. Document after document surfaced: bank records, affidavits, audio clips. Each one painted a darker picture. Robyn had allegedly charged expenses on joint credit cards tied to Christine and Janelle's names. She'd even signed papers with their forged signatures. The judge leaned forward at one point and said flatly, "If even half of this is true, we're not talking about miscommunication. This could very well be fraud." But the most stomach-churning scene was not in the documents. It was a never-broadcast Sister Wives segment, presented as evidence. Cody asserted in it, "I didn't think I needed their permission to protect what matters. Robyn and I are doing what's in the best interest for this family." Soon after, Janelle was seen discreetly shaking her head and softly saying, "He lost interest in this family the moment that it no longer had to do with Robyn." That video wasn't merely evidence of intent, it was evidence of betrayal. Outside of court, Twitter erupted. Exposed, a Sister Wives fraud, Robyn court scandal, all trending within hours. Fans were outraged. Some called for Cody to be sent to jail. Others labelled Robyn the downfall of the Brown empire. Even YouTube stars, bloggers, and ex-reality TV personalities had their 2 cents, dissecting every aspect. Rumours swirled. Would Robyn end up in prison? Would Cody have to pay back millions? And what about TLC? Would the network at last cut ties? By the time the judge recessed and established a date for the next hearing, one thing was clear. This wasn't merely scandal, it was a reckoning. For years, Cody had sold his family as an outside-the-box but spiritually committed unit. He peddled that image to the world, and perhaps even himself. But now that image was destroyed. Robyn was no longer the favourite wife. She was at the centre of what potentially would be the most explosive legal drama in the history of reality television. And that was just the tip of the iceberg, because all empires leave a trail of paper, and Robyn's is about to be exposed, line by line, dollar by dollar, for the whole world to see. She wasn't the weeping, gentle-spoken woman whose fans recalled from the couch scenes of Sister Wives. Robyn Brown, the wife Cody once proclaimed his greatest spiritual connection to, now sat expressionless at the defense table. No children in attendance, no sympathetic camera shot, only a pile of evidence that might tear down all she and Cody had constructed. The courtroom clerk's voice rang out as a folder was passed to the judge. Item number 47. Within, bank statements dripping with clandestine transfers, undeclared income, and money movement, all leading in one direction: Robyn Brown. The judge raised the papers, placed his glasses higher up on his nose, and started reading. There was a thick silence. Not a cough, not a shuffle, but the hard snap of one camera's shutter. Years of whispers, suspicions, and theories online suddenly staring everyone in the face. It all tracked back to 2016, 2 years since Cody split with Meri in order to lawfully marry Robyn. The maneuver was minimized at the time as logistical, but that lawful connection quietly granted Robyn access to family bank accounts, shared business ventures, and lines of credit. And in the prosecutor's view, she didn't just take advantage of them, she took charge. The charges were staggering. Family money was reportedly used to buy a Flagstaff home for $900,000 in 2019 when Robyn told the other wives that money was short. Documents revealed the property deed only bore Cody and Robyn's signatures. No mention of Christine, Janelle, or Meri, though their finances had contributed to it. Investigators also found 2 companies, Brown Family Holdings and Life with Robyn, Inc. Both had Robyn as sole manager. Together, more than $420,000 in money from TLC, according to reports, moved through, checked off in vague categories such as consulting and family management. Toss in the credit card expenditures, designer handbags, bespoke furniture, private school fees for Robyn's children, all purportedly charged to family accounts. The most incriminating proof? A document allegedly empowering Robyn to manage some funds, signed by Christine. Christine denied signing it flat out. An expert in forensic handwriting concurred, deeming the signature highly inconsistent. What was presented as financial delegation appeared a great deal like forgery. The other wives' testimonies cut the deepest. Christine emerged on a pre-recorded tape, serene but forceful. I wanted to trust that she had our best interests at heart, but she inserted herself between us and Cody, all the while proclaiming she was keeping us together. Janelle came next, her outrage more acerbic. There were stories I didn't even know there were. She told us we were broke, yet money was coming out of the woodwork everywhere, just not to us. And Cody? He agreed with it. It wasn't about bank accounts anymore. It was about betrayal, trust, the disintegration of a family constructed on mutual sacrifice, and then the voices of the children. Written testimony was read, each more heartbreaking than the previous. One adult child confessed, "I worked 2 jobs to help pay for college because I thought the family couldn't afford it." Turns out it wasn't all of us who were broke, just some of us. Another, from Robyn's own older child, admitted, "I was told not to question anything. I thought everything was being taken care of. Now I realize I never knew the truth." The betrayal extended deeper than the wives. It extended to the kids, the very ones the Browns had always said they were doing it all for. As the news spread, social media blew up like wildfire. Twitter threads, TikTok breakdowns, Reddit deep dives. Fans picked apart every detail. Retrospective watchings of old episodes took place. Every look, every remark, every Robyn tear picked apart like evidence in a courtroom. A single Reddit post entitled "Robyn Brown the Mastermind" reached 40,000 upvotes overnight. Public opinion grew vicious. She made herself a throne while acting like she was barely holding on. Cody let her have her way. Maybe this is what he's always wanted. The internet wasn't just faulting Robyn, they were faulting the whole Brown dynasty. Legal advisors cautioned that despite the lack of criminal prosecution, Cody and Robyn may still experience financial devastation, court-ordered restitution, forced sale of their house, an injunction freezing access to whatever family money is left. As bluntly phrased by one lawyer, if it walks like financial coercion and quacks like financial coercion, it's fraud. When court recessed, Robyn hid behind enormous sunglasses. Cody trailed a few paces behind, his face stern, his bravado lost. Neither of them spoke, neither glanced back. But one thing was certain, the storm wasn't yet over. For as Robyn sat at the defense table, the spotlight was turning. Each new revelation, each allegation, each unaccounted for dollar now came circling back to the man in the middle of it all. Cody Brown. And the question lingering in the air like a cloud was this: was Robyn the mastermind, or had Cody been the architect all along? For more than a decade, Cody Brown branded himself as the patriarch of an eccentric but united plural family. But that image was unraveling fast, caught in a storm of accusations, fractured relationships, and mounting legal consequences. The courtroom snapped to attention as the judge cracked his gavel. His tone was firm. "Mr. Brown, you may now respond to the charges." Cody rose slowly, tugging at his tie, his body language betraying the weight pressing down on him. His voice was low but tense. "Your Honor, with all due respect," he began, "this isn't fraud. This is bitterness. This is revenge." Gasp after gasp spread throughout the room. The judge cautioned the court to keep its cool, but the proverbial dam had broken. Cody's voice became louder, more intense with each sentence. "I sacrificed my peace, my privacy, my sanity for this family. I created a life with 4 women and children living under a microscope, and now I'm being smeared for attempting to hold on to what little we had left." It wasn't a defense, it was a meltdown, raw, unfiltered, and shown to the world. The judge attempted to hold him back. "Mr. Brown, please control yourself." But Cody continued, his gaze fixed on Christine and Janelle. "You know what this is about. You walked out. You left this family. And now you want to rewrite history. Portray me as the villain for keeping it together." The room stilled. Janelle looked down. Christine sat forward, face inscrutable, her silence trumping words. Years of audiences had seen Cody walk through chaos, wives fighting, kids acting out, money running low. But here, without producers and editors, he wasn't the charming patriarch anymore. He was a man disintegrating. His attorney reached to support him, telling him to sit, but Cody recoiled. Nobody ever speaks of what I bore, the pressure, the deception, the endless struggle to keep this going. They no longer wanted plural marriage, and that's okay. But don't you ever accuse me of manipulation. I sacrificed. We all did. And now Robyn and I are crucified for being loyal. When his tirade was over, his attorneys rushed to mend the damage. They framed the case as a tragic miscommunication. There had never been any formal contracts that controlled the family's finances, only trust and word of mouth. What the plaintiffs termed fraud, the defense contended, was simply communication breakdown. The formation of the LLCs, they asserted, was to preserve what was left of the family's future, particularly because Robyn was his sole legal wife. All financial decisions, they alleged, were scrutinized by lawyers and tax experts. This is not theft, the defense argued. It's sorrow, confusion, and the slow demise of a family that never quite fit society's mold. But the courtroom atmosphere had changed. The judge sat forward, eyes intense. So let me make this plain, Mr. Brown. You acknowledge you made financial choices without disclosing this to the others. You and your legal wife on your own. Cody's bluster wavered. His tone lost its edge. I did what I believed I needed to do. The family was falling apart. People were walking away. I had to do what I could to keep what remained. For the first time, Cody Brown appeared unsure. Less like a man with power, more like a person discovering too late that the house he constructed was on fire, and that perhaps he was the one who lit the first match. Next was Christine's turn. During a 5-minute recess, she was permitted to deliver a short statement. Serene, measured but sharp, she stood up. I am not here to battle with Cody. I'm here to tell the truth. We all agreed years ago that our money would go in an equal amount. I believed in that system until the day I received a call informing me there was not enough to pay school fees for my children. And I saw pictures of Robyn's new backyard renovations. She broke off. Had he let me know things were going to change, I'd have been okay with it. But he did not. He just asserted himself and demanded silence. It wasn't passionate, it wasn't emotional, but it landed harder than any tantrum. Outside, the web went wild. Footage of Cody's courtroom tirade leaked onto social media. Hashtags lit up. Cody loses it. Justice for Christine. Defending Robyn. TikTok edited his meltdown together with sister wives' highlights, eerily drawing parallels between his past behaviors. One viral repost cut to the chase. He didn't just lose his family, he lost the plot. Experts opined on YouTube and Twitter. Therapists, counselors, and body language experts all concurred. Cody's tantrum wasn't anger, it was fear. When a person loses a system they've controlled, said one therapist, they strike out, not because of money, but because they lose control, power, and identity. And that was the reality. Cody Brown wasn't fighting to win a case. He was fighting to save his legacy. But in the courtroom, feelings don't carry more weight than facts. And thus far, the facts weren't in his favor. As the session ended, the judge issued a stern warning. This court will not accept theatrics. We are not here to mediate shattered marriages. We are here to decide whether vows were broken. Cody slumped back, white and quiet. Robyn did not reach out and take his hand. Not now. The gallery cleared, journalists scrambled to write, and out at the courthouse, cameras filmed as the world waited for the next bombshell. Because if this was Cody's version of a defense, the actual storm had yet to strike. And as day 3 of hearings loomed, excitement hummed in the air. Satellite trucks parked down the street. Groups of people clustered outside. Inside, all knew that the spotlight was about to turn. Not to Cody, not to Christine, not to Janelle, but to Robyn Brown herself. The previously inaccessible favourite wife was now about to be questioned that could destroy it all. The courtroom was still, but the atmosphere was asphyxiating with tension. Robyn Brown, formerly portrayed as the dedicated wife or the family annihilator, was summoned to testify. This time, no producers, no cuts, no cameras for TLC. Simply truth on oath. And for the first time, Robyn had to make a choice: defend Cody or finally defend herself. She smoothed down her blouse, slowly seated herself, and compelled herself to glance up at the light fixtures overhead. Her voice was steady, but eyes told a different tale, flicking around wildly, seeking flight. The lawyer started gently. "Mrs. Brown, were you aware of Mr. Brown's financial transactions with his other wives?" Robyn hesitated. "Only what he said to me," she replied. "I wasn't directly implicated." But the next question pierced deeper. "Did Cody tell you to open accounts in your name alone?" The silence was palpable. Then her response, "Yes." Whispers coursed through the courtroom. Rumours and published reports for months intimated that Cody and Robyn had diverted cash into private accounts, excluding the other wives. Now, under oath, Robyn acknowledged she signed the documents. But the bombshell wasn't finished. Christine's lawyer laid out deeds to properties and bank statements, evidence that more than $600,000 in family wealth were transferred into Robyn's name alone. The money, stolen from joint family accounts destined for equal sharing by Christine, Janelle, and Meri. The betrayal was irrepressible. Janelle's attorney stood, voice shaking with contained fury. "This has nothing to do with money. It has to do with trust. Whether she realized it or not, Robyn signed away what belonged to everybody else." Robyn's defense started to disintegrate in front of the court's eyes. Her attorney struggled to turn things back around, but the judge was unrelenting. And then there was the question that cut through every level of devotion. "Mrs. Brown, were you coerced into signing these documents?" Robyn's voice broke. "He said it was for us. For our future. He said the others would be okay." She looked at Cody, whose icy stare provided no solace, only silent rage. Then the roles were reversed. Cody Brown himself was called to testify. Dressed impeccably, but clearly coming apart at the seams, he attempted to don confidence as armor. But when Christine's lawyer started cross-examining, fissures burst open. "Mr. Brown, did you tell Robyn to prepare a will in 2022 that did not include your other children?" Cody blinked hard. "It was just for clarity in law," he stuttered. The attorney probed harder. "But you left them out." Cody owned up. "Yes, on our attorney's advice." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Each of Cody's excuses collapsed one by one. The lawyer persisted. "Did you put property into Robyn's name to protect it from divorce court?" Cody stumbled. "I didn't think it would happen. I just assumed they were angry." His responses became defensive, then ugly. The once authoritative patriarch of sister wives was now cracked visibly under legal pressure. Emails, texts, and signed papers created a scenario Cody could no longer reinterpret. The judge leaned in, his voice stern. "Mr. Brown, do you realize what happens when assets held jointly are sold without permission?" Cody's answer was a whisper. "I thought I was defending what was left, but perhaps I was mistaken." Cody was uncertain for the first time, not as a leader, but as a man who saw the empire he constructed go up in flames around him. And then, surprising everyone, Robyn requested to address the court directly. She didn't have to do it, but the judge granted it. Hands shaking, she rose before the bench. "I never wanted this," she said softly. "I just wanted peace. Cody said it was for our future. I didn't know I was hurting until now." She looked for a moment at Christine and Janelle, her eyes welling up with tears. "I'm sorry. If I could do it over, I would do it another way." Was it honesty or tactic? It was labelled crocodile tears by some. Others thought that it was the initial fissure in her denial wall. Janelle would not even glance at her. Christine merely nodded, silent tears pouring down her cheeks. By the close of play, the judge issued a chilling threat. If assets were found to be hidden or fraudulently relocated, the court would freeze accounts, require restitution, and dig deeper still. Court would reconvene in 2 days' time for closing arguments. But one thing was already certain. This was no mere legal fight. It was the collapse of a family dynasty. Outside, the world lost its mind. Journalists converged. Fans inundated TikTok and Twitter. Hashtags detonating. Robyn exposed. Cody on trial. Justice for Christine. Outdated sister wives clips circulated, suddenly re-understood as evidence of years of deception. Memes regarding Robyn's secret trust fund went viral. Even the mainstream media rode the hype. And then came the judge's words like a blow from any headline. His decision was uncompromising. This court does not see emotional distress as an excuse for shirking financial responsibility. A shot directly at Robyn's assertion that she was so snowed under that she couldn't make disclosures. For years, fans had guessed at favoritism, manipulation, and financial sleight of hand in the background. But now it wasn't rumor. It was reality, stark on black and white court documents. And as the world passed all the leaks, all the transcripts, one fact became inescapable. Cody and Robyn weren't merely losing in court. They were losing the thing they took years to hold on to, the narrative. Undefined. For in the end, no reality TV edit was going to save them. No TLC deal could insulate them. And no artfully written script could alter what the court had already exposed. The courtroom was charged, but what followed shattered years of silence. For too long, Christine, Janelle, and Meri had practiced restraint, biting their tongues, praying peace would prevail over truth. But this trial broke that silence wide open. Christine broke first. She did not scream or accuse. Instead, she answered quietly through an Instagram clip that went directly to the point. Finally, the truth is out. Hopefully, this empowers other women who have lived in situations like mine. We stayed quiet because we thought it kept the family safe. But silence, sometimes it only protects the wrong people. Her words ignited a spark. Janelle burned that spark into fire. In a live stream with fans, her voice bore the weight of decades of betrayal. He bet our future on Robyn's comfort. Now the court finally sees it too. And then came Meri, the one who had always tried to keep the peace. She didn't speak directly, but a single tweet hit harder than any statement could. Some people will betray you and then act like you're the one who hurt them. Fans instantly tied it back to Cody. Within hours, the line was trending. For the first time in years, the three women were not held apart by jealousy, favoritism, or neglect. They were bonding, not by religion, but by survival. But in the background, another tempest was brewing. TLC officials frantically worked to put out fires. The courtroom chaos was shattering ratings records, but it was also putting the network in jeopardy for allowing this dysfunction to play out, unchecked, for more than a decade. Speculation churned of radical overhauls, a revamped Sister Wives focused on Christine and Janelle, or maybe a whole new spin-off chronicling their paths of healing and self-sufficiency beyond polygamy. Insiders even speculated that Cody and Robyn's future on the network could be in jeopardy, particularly since advertisers complained. "We can't be associated with condoning financial abuse," one insider was said to have cautioned. The court's decision, while aimed at marital assets and debts, had an even more sinister overtone. Judges suggested hidden transfers, improper bookkeeping, and Robyn's suspicious signatures on property titles. Legal analysts didn't overlook it. Many remarked that the testimony could trigger something much larger, a full-fledged criminal investigation. The fans soon began petitions calling for the IRS to investigate the Browns. And although no criminal complaint had yet been brought, YouTube legal commentators cautioned that the judge's phrasing could provide a basis for future fraud actions. But surely the most ironical twist. Robyn herself. She had lived in the dream house, the top of the family tree's apple for all these years. And now, the same house has turned into a golden cage. Paparazzi spotted her leaving court with puffy eyes from sobbing. Insiders said she's gone into hiding, hardly venturing out, staying away from public spots, and stepping out of the limelight. A friend of the family disclosed she wanted to tell her side of the story, but now it's getting away from her. Even the kids, once protected from the most brutal fights, are being affected. Janelle exposed in an intimate video presented in court. They're carrying wounds they don't even understand yet. The trauma is intergenerational, and Cody, his skillfully constructed image came undone in one sentence via his attorney. This has been agonizing. I ask for privacy as my family works through these changes. But fans weren't buying it. No apology, no admission of wrongdoing, not even a nod to the stack of evidence. Just empty words from a guy who used to reign over a household empire. What began as a reality show about love multiplied is now a cautionary tale about power, manipulation, and the horrific price of betrayal when it finally meets the truth. Christine, Janelle, and Meri walked away from Cody. But now, with the courts behind them, they're walking toward justice. And as for Cody and Robyn's empire, the cracks aren't simply appearing, the walls are crumbling, and the whole world is watching.